Welcome to the Business Growth Spotlight, where we shine the light and talk with business leaders from all over the world who are here to share their expertise and wisdom so we can all grow together. I'm your host, Heidi Schalk, co-founder of HLH Growth Solutions, where we help businesses scale revenue using outside-the-box visibility strategies. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. So glad to have you here. Make sure that you stay to the end because we have a special gift just for you. But without further ado, I want to introduce you to my guest. Her and I have had multiple conversations. She is a rock star. I'm excited for her to be here sharing her expertise with all of you today. So welcome Laci Davis to the show with the Grit Game.
Thank you for having me, Heidi. This is one of my favorite topics. I'm so happy to be here.
Absolutely. So let's talk growth. I know that you are a female entrepreneur, business leader in a male-dominated industry. So, which I want to dive into all of that, which is interesting to me. But also, can you kick us off by sharing a little bit about yourself, about the Grit Game, and your role within it?
Absolutely. So, I was really blessed to have a lot of really cool and fascinating careers in early on in my life and got to chase a lot of dreams. And those ranged anywhere from public speaking in Ireland to running ops for the largest festival of chocolate on the East Coast to working at Disney. And Disney is where my current husband found me. And he was in this very niche industry, which was swimming pools and spas and backyard leisure. And he said, you're a really good writer. You should come work for me. And I was like, well, that sounds interesting. But we eventually did go down that pathway. And what happened was I got to watch him grow a business into a multi-million-dollar business for somebody else. My background is entrepreneurship. At least that's how I was raised. Both of my parents, most of my family members are all entrepreneurs. So it was this kind of underlying know that I would own a business one day. It's just a matter of when. And so seeing his passion for this industry and having kind of the back end creativity and entrepreneur heart that I had, it was these conversations of, are we ever going to do our own thing? You'd be great. This would be fantastic. But also the reality of when you own your own business, it's nights, weekends, holidays, it's your baby. It's not usually off the bat this work-life freedom that a lot of people, I think, comes with the glamour of holding your own business. The start of it is very grit driven. And so when he decided that, yeah, I think I'm ready. Let's do our thing. I said, great. What do you want to do? He said, I really want to grow small to medium sized businesses. I love it. I love growing businesses. That's my passion is in this industry. And I said, I love growing businesses. I think that's fantastic. So maybe it's a consulting for businesses in the pool industry. And he said, I love that. Well, we were watching a TED Talk. It was Angela Duckworth's TED Talk on the power of grit. And it came down to what is the number one indicator of success? Is it IQ? Is it good looks? What is it? And it ended up being grit. How willing are you to go in day after day and do what it takes without necessarily that instant reward or that quick gratification? And we finished watching the TED Talk and I looked at him and I said, whatever we end up doing, we're going to have serious grit to be in the game. You saw the light bulb go off and he said, that's it. That's the name. It's the Grit Game. And so we had the name and we knew that we wanted to empower the potential in the industry we were already in. And so that was the driving factor. A couple of months into that endeavor, manufacturers in our industry started coming to us because they knew our history of business growth on this other side and said, can you represent our product? Can you take our product and go out into swimming pool builders, swimming pool service guys, the distributors? Can you sell our product on our behalf? And we said, sure, yeah, we could do that. What kind of territory were you thinking? Because that's normally what a rep does is they take on a small territory. They said the United States. There's a team of two people, right? They're like, you got the whole United States, whatever you can sell. And we're like, I think we need a team. And this is where the growth, we get asked a lot, Johnny and I, and the Grit Game about our growth because we are less than 3 years old. And we started really just shy over 2 years ago being a sales rep firm, a team of two saying, I think we need a team if we're going to manage the whole US. And in that time, we are right at 30 team members today. We manage the United States and Canada. We have a book of over 20 manufacturers that we sell for, right at 20. And so it's just been this explosive situation that, at least in our industry, is kind of unheard of. We don't typically see growth to that scale that quickly. We, in 1 year of business, we were on the cover of several magazines, industry specific, sales specific. We won the national award of an award that's voted on by our peers, by industry professionals, for best sales group in the nation. And at that point, we weren't even 2 years old yet. So how does that happen? And people come to us all the time. Was it the marketing? Was it this? Was it that? So the grit game is this massive growth cycle in our world, and there's a lot that most businesses can implement into theirs and make a difference in theirs as well.
That's incredible, because you guys have exploded pretty quickly, pretty fast. So can you share like what attributed to that success? Like if somebody's listening going, oh my gosh, I've been doing this much longer and I haven't gotten that growth, what would you say are maybe the top one or top three things that got you that explosive growth in such a short amount of time?
Absolutely. We did a lot of documenting the process. And what I mean by that is sharing as we go, sharing everything we're doing. That's on social media, that's on blogs, that's on wherever you do your sharing. Share more, do more of that. And the reason is, a lot of these things we weren't doing. There were some things that we were doing that everybody in our field, they've been doing, but nobody was talking about it. So we just shined a light on, here's where our team's at. Here's our team out in the field. Here's our team with a customer. Here's our team talking about a product with you. These weren't things that were already happening. So just documenting and sharing more is going to expand your reach extensively. What we did in conjunction with that was, my husband is a very shy is a great word. He's an introvert, and he's a bit shy. Unless you get him talking about pools, then he's your best friend. But we would go to these trade shows and these industry events, and it took me a year. This started before we had our own business. I got him this really interesting pair of pants. They looked like a swimming pool. They looked like pool floats all over this. People, and he's like, I'm not wearing that. I'm not, I wear like slacks and a polo and a blazer. I'm not wearing pool party pants. And a year later, we're going to our first trade show as the grit game. And I take him out and I hold him up, and I can already see the I'm not doing that look in his eye. And I said, you're not in the same business anymore. You can't afford to be forgotten. And he put him on. And we started a campaign that said, hey, if you see Johnny, and showed him, what a picture of him looked like in these pants, take a picture of him, post it, tag it. We're going to do giveaways. We're going to give this away. We're going to give this away. We're going to give this away. So what happened was, not only were people like, whoa, who's the guy in the pants? But they were taking pictures of him and posting them online, tagging us, hoping to win. So we created this massive word of mouth, what's going on? Why is this guy all of a sudden in everybody's LinkedIn feed? We didn't go necessarily Facebook or Instagram, because our clients they were all business owners themselves. They're all on LinkedIn. LinkedIn isn't traditionally used as that kind of platform.
Right.
So now this is something new and fun on my LinkedIn profile. And now if people see Johnny out in the wild, it's the funniest thing. They're like, where's your pants? Where's where's your pants? So he has a whole array of these really fun, loud, crazy pants now, because he has them on rotation for the trade shows. But that became his thing. People that join their team, they're like, do I need a crazy pair of pants? No, you don't. If you want to rock them, I mean, I fully support you, but it's not required. But a business doesn't necessarily have to have something loud and flashy and crazy. You just have to have something that makes you and your company unforgettable in the sea of options that people have. So what is that? Maybe if you have a cookie company, it's how do you stand out? Are you really selling cookies at that point? Maybe your shop is this really fun, bright color, and so everything is that. You just need to find something creative that says, when I think of this product, I'm going to think of them more than anything.
So good. I loved everything you just shared about that right there, and how fun is it? And one thing that stuck out for me is, I think we can kind of get locked into what the platforms are. like we get into the structure where, oh, LinkedIn, we have to be professional and everything has to be like said perfectly. And we can't be fun. We can't be funny. We can't be fun. We have to be very like, toe the line. And you kind of just blew that out of the water, which I love that you shared that, because I think no matter what platform you are, you kind of get to get out of your head on the structure of the platform, because Instagram has their way of talking, Facebook has their way of talking, LinkedIn has their way of talking. But I think we're seeing that you can talk any way you want to on any of the platforms. At least that's what I'm seeing with my clients who we run their content for. And just be yourself. Because when you're yourself, that's all that matters. Authenticity trumps any of the speaking things that we're thinking or speaking, what's the word I'm looking for, templates that we feel like, oh, that's how Instagram should be written, that's how Facebook. And even if you go on AI, if you type in a LinkedIn post and you say reformat this or rewrite this for Instagram, it will totally change it up, completely change it up. But at the end of the day, does it really matter? No. People want to connect with you. People want to connect with, because like you said, they remembered the pants. And now when you put out there like, oh, hey, when you see him, take a picture and tag us, you're creating this buzz right out there. You're creating this momentum, and people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And you can't know, like, and trust somebody when they're a dime a dozen on social media. But when you feel like you actually know them and you're connecting with them, and laughter is one of the best ways of being able to, when somebody smiles, then they're going to remember you. Right? They're going to remember Johnny in his pants. I didn't know his name before now. Now I know his name, Johnny with the pants. Like, so it's going to be memorable. So share with us, you shared those tips about unbeknownst, like unexpectedly, you shared these tips about social media growth. So for those of you listening, if you're growing a business, you definitely want to do something outside the box. And that's what you should be doing. What makes you stand out? Just like Laci was saying, what makes you different? It could be a color. It could be maybe the cookies, bring you a sense of your memories from childhood. Then that's what you're tapping into. That's what sets you apart, whatever that is. And you got to find that for you inside your business. And if you're in business and you're going to succeed, you do have competition. Typically, there's competition out there. So the biggest thing that you need to do is find out what sets you apart. How do you stand out from the crowd? So you just shared some of the ways. You took my questions away from me, Laci, but that's okay. Like what makes you different, what's making you stay visible, and you just shared that. But let's go into being a female leader. Let's talk into that, because it's not something we've talked about on this specific podcast. What are some of the challenges that you faced as a female coming into a male dominated industry, and how did you overcome those challenges?
Sure. So I think that when you are in a male dominated industry, there's some innate challenges that just exist. Not saying that the boys club is doing anything intentionally wrong. It's just kind of how they've been accustomed to operating for a long time. I will say that just as many unfortunate or negative experiences I've had in a male dominated industry, I've had gentlemen on the flip side of the coin in the same industry respond beautifully and amazingly and better than I could ever imagine. So if you're ever in a spot where you feel like something is occurring that I don't think would occur if I was a different sex, outside of sexual kind of tendencies, and what's the word I'm looking for? Outside of any sexual harassment situation, if you get into a situation where you're like, man, I feel like if I was a man, they'd be talking to me a little differently, just understand that that is probably not the norm. And so when you go into it and having kind of this good mindset of this is a one-off, it gives you a little bit more grace to deal with it. When you feel like everybody's out to get you, then you start to act with bitterness. You start to act with a little aggression. You start to act, and that's never how a leader wants to come off. So just go into it with the mindset of this is a one-off. How do we bring it back to a situation that is going to be more towards how I would like it to be? So, for example, I would go up and introduce myself. I'm very big on when I shake hands with you, I'm going to look you in the eye, I'm going to smile. And it would bother me when somebody would go to shake my hand, but it would be like, hey, yeah, nice to meet you. So, Dave, tell me about that rubs me the wrong way because I don't think that a man would do that to another man. I think it's because I am a 5'1" little girl in their eyes. And that's not right, but it's not the end of the world either. So what do we do in those situations? Well, I don't like to interrupt people. So I'm going to let Bob and Dave have their conversation. And if there's a spot where I can inject and add value to that, then I will. I have this mindset that I've done the work. I've put in the work. I stay up later than most people. I work more than most people. I do my homework. So I have knowledge that can be added value. If you've done the work, you're going to step into that circle with total confidence in I can deliver something. But we don't just want to add value. We don't want to just add to add. I always want to be adding value. I'm not here for the sound of my own voice. And I think that's where people can get a little tripped up of I need to be heard. People who are striving to be leaders or striving to be in leadership, but maybe they're not there just yet. It's not about getting your own voice heard. It's about how much value can you add to a conversation. So sometimes being quiet isn't a problem. Sometimes pausing is a great tool in a conversation to show I'm thinking about what you're talking about and then I'm going to provide value. But coming back into it of how do you deal with people who may see you as less simply for your gender? Do the work, have confidence in your ability, don't have a need to hear your own voice. And the people who are going to be able to support you, they'll see that. Anytime you have an opportunity to bring something up and provide a redirect back to what it is the conversation is there for, do it with grace. Like we said, don't go into it with bitterness and ruffleness because that's not going to put you into the image that you want either.
Yeah. What I just thought about when you were saying that was don't listen to speak. Many people listen to speak. They're not fully present. They're wondering, they're listening, thinking, what am I going to say? Which when we're thinking about what we're going to say, because even on podcasts, I've learned how to do that. And I still, even every time I'm on a podcast, I'm like, let's be fully present. And I start getting nervous. Like, do I have the question that I'm going to ask next? And sometimes I don't. And I'll literally, my guest will stop speaking and I don't know what I'm going to ask next, but it literally comes to me because I've been fully present listening. And the more that I've learned to do that, the better the conversation has been. It's just been and it's an evolution, right? It doesn't happen overnight, but so many of us, and I'm guilty of it, listen to speak. And you just brought up that whole point, you don't want to you're not just talking to talk, right? You want to add value that's going to actually move the needle forward for that person. That's the goal. And when you do that and you show up that way, now, like the pants of Johnny, that's going to be a memory and that you're going to be on the forefront of their mind when they're ready to take that next step on your product or your service.
Right. When I was at Disney, there was we did a lot of cast training, and one of the leaders, he said, charisma is when you make the people you're in front of feel better about themselves than you did before they got there. That's charisma. And I took that with me. And so in these situations where maybe somebody spoke down to me or ignored me or what have you, it was, well, how can I still make them feel better about themselves? And there's some little tricks. I really enjoyed the book, The Charisma Myth. And she talks about the different ways that you can put off charisma. And one of them is if you're speaking to somebody that's maybe rubbed you the wrong way for a different reason, picture them with angel wings. I don't know why this works, but I've tried it. It's the strangest thing. You instantly warm to them. No idea why this works. So that's a little trick, and you end up speaking kinder to them and a little warmer and gentler. And so you always also want to keep in mind what's that brand voice? How you're always connected to your brand, always, no matter what you do. So going back to how you're speaking online, it needs to kind of regurgitate into how you're speaking in person. So if your brand voice is it aggressive? Is it pushy? Is it probably not? So you are always a walking poster for your business. And so how you speak to others is going to reflect how they see your business in turn as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the name of your company, the Grit Game, because at the end of the day, you do need that. You need that perseverance, you need that persistence, you need that consistency in showing up in order to achieve the goals that you want to achieve inside of your business. So
Mhm.
let's talk about a little bit about, before we dive into visibility, AI, because it's here, it's not going anywhere. So how are you guys utilizing AI inside of your business? Was that a scary leap for you? And how are you utilizing it if you are, and in what is it creating for you in the growth of your company?
Yeah, absolutely. I love AI. It's not a scary thing at all. Um, AI, I don't think is going to take over the world. I think the people who know how to use AI properly are going to take over the world because what it does is, I've talked to several different businesses about this. AI can give you the ability to make one team member be able to churn out the work of 5 to 10 team members if they know how to use it properly. And that's even with using free resources like a chat GPT without the paid version. So once you get into these very more highly specific platforms and softwares, it's so incredibly powerful. But again, it's only powerful if you know how to speak to it. If you start using AI in any capacity long enough, you will start to recognize its voice. It becomes like a really close friend. When you spend a lot of time with people, you recognize people's voices even without looking at them. I can hear Heidi way over here in a different room and I'm like, oh, Heidi's here. That's great. We're gonna have a great time. And it's the same with AI. You're gonna start to see it. Oh, well, they just used AI to reply to that LinkedIn comment. Oh, that's an AI generated email. That's an AI YouTube description. And you start to hear its voice in different places. So if you can kind of train yourself to know what it sounds like, you can also make sure that you train it to not sound like AI. You make it more human as well. So that's one thing that we always encourage our clients to do is if you're going to use AI, don't ever use it 100% what it gives you. Throw in some human noise. The first output is usually not the best. You got to work on it and you got to get it a little more specific to what you're talking about. One of the AI tools that we're kind of newer to using that makes me really excited from a training standpoint. If you're looking to scale, you're looking to grow, you probably have team members that need training to some kind, whether they're brand new or as you grow, there's new processes. That's one thing that we had to learn very fast is we're growing big. We need some processes and procedures in place. How do we get the same message across the team? Well, what we've been able to do is we'll do video trainings either with ourselves or the products that we're learning about to go out and sell. We'll take that video, we'll put it in an AI transcriber. So what does that mean? It gives me all the text from that video. So everybody that's speaking, it's now written out in paragraph form. I will take that and put it into a system called Notebook LM. It's free. And that will do is I can either leave it as the video transcription, I can upload additional training documents, I can upload manuals, I can upload anything, and it will take everything I've given it and turn it into an FAQ section. It will give me a recap, it will give me a training guide. I can click one button in under 2 minutes. It will take everything I gave it and turn it into a mock podcast where two people are talking back and forth about everything in it. So my team they're on the road constantly. They have a lot of windshield time. I put all of their training into a format that they can listen as they're driving. So they can get training as they go, make their time more efficient instead of just sitting and driving. So those are ones that we're really excited to be using. Somebody just turned me on to HeyGen AI, where they say, take that same transcript that you just uploaded for your training, pop it into HeyGen, and it's going to give you a AI person talking to you that looks real. You can now use that as talking head videos for social media. It's just, there's no end to what you can do with AI. And it's wild. The more you want to learn, it's out there. It's just spending 10 minutes a day. My VP of business development, she called me and said, I want to learn more about AI. I said, take 10 minutes of your day and do some research. If you go down a bunny hole for 30 minutes, hey, I'm happy. You're just going to get better if you learn it. And it's new, right? It's this shiny new toy that we've gotten in the last couple of years. So the more people who understand it today, who get on board today, you're going to be that much more powerful, have that much more capabilities to create that many more efficiencies tomorrow, a year from now, 5, 10 years from now, when it's just exploded, you're going to be on the note of understanding it. The people who get on board with AI now they will rule the world in 5 years.
Yeah.
Personal opinion.
No, I agree with you. And last year, I know when it was all coming out, and I was a little hesitant about it. There's certain group of us, we got a little nervous, but you have to get on. You have to jump on the boat, because if you don't, you're going to be left behind, and your business isn't going to thrive for sure. Because there's so many benefits to it if you utilize it properly, and if you know how to utilize it, like you said. And I love. I've heard about Notebook LM. I haven't used it yet. It's on my list though. Somebody tapped me into that. And then Gamma. I love Gamma. Gamma's fantastic. It's like my new best friend. I play with it every day. I'm like, amazing. I used to spend 3 hours on presentations, and now within like 5 minutes, it's done. And I just need to make a few tweaks, and I can send it off, and boom, I'm done. I'm like, oh, this has changed my life.
Yes. Gamma's wonderful.
I love it. So let's talk about, we talked about AI. What now, visibility wise, what are you all doing in order to get it? You're niched into the pool industry. So how are you getting in front of your ideal client and staying relevant? Because even though you're niched specifically in a very tight space, you still have competition. So how are you staying relevant and in top of mind for your people?
Sure. So my team is a team of salespeople, and they go out and they do face-to-face door knocking. Not really. They're having appointments, and they're going and seeing people, but they're going and doing a lot of face-to-face. So what we want to do is amplify their efforts. When they go, they're giving their customers different things with QR codes and say, hey, here's a link to follow our journey. Make sure you tag us so we can shout you out, so we can highlight your business, so we can say, hey, this pool pro's got grit. We want to shine a light on you. By having their focus more on the customer, and how do we shine more attention on you? How do we get more attention on your business? Those customers naturally connect with us. They tag us, they take pictures with our team, they put them online. And so then we go and we just act as cheerleader. What does that do? That makes other people, oh, I want to connect with them. They're so nice. They just want to grow the industry. They want to help everybody, which is true. Our mission statement at the Grit Game is to empower potential. It's not sell products. It's empower potential, whether that's the products we're selling, the partners and the manufacturers we represent, the businesses we are working with to grow their businesses, whether that's Pool Pro or the manufacturer we're supporting, or even just our team. How do we empower potential in the person that we're in front of today? And when you have that kind of energy, it's kind of what you said before. Your vibe attracts your tribe. If you show up authentically with good intentions, with an air of positivity and this spirit of cooperation, it's going to pull the right people to you. What did you say? People buy from who they like, who they trust, who they know. Well, people want to see other people succeed. I think good people want others to succeed. So the more we pour into others, the more we spend time trying to solve their problems, not sell products that I have. I want to know, Heidi, what problems do you have? What's your biggest hurdles? What constraints are you finding in your business that's not letting you get that second location, that's not getting you to the ROI that you want? When I know that, then I can make recommendations that maybe it's not even a product I have. Maybe it's a pool pro that I know. They went through something similar, they got over it, and we make those connections. That to me is a win. Did we sell anything? Not today. But it's not about that. It's about empowering the potential. So I think that our visibility comes from not necessarily, I think our competitors would say we're very loud and we shine a light on ourselves. But really, that goes back to just documenting the process of this growth and showing what our team's doing. And then our team turns around and says, and here's the pool pros that we're doing it with. Here's the what the businesses that we're teaming up with and that we stopped in and saw today and how they've got grit. And I think because of that, that's how we've gotten a great deal of our visibility. Yes, we're on socials, we just got on YouTube. We are having a present because the goal is if somebody goes to look for us, we want them to be able to find us. It's just making yourself and getting yourself out there. We also attend a lot of industry events. I think we attend over 100 industry events every single year without hesitation. That's a lot of pants, Heidi.
A lot of pants. That's a lot of pants. We're looking for those pants. So if you see Johnny out there, for you, those of you listening, tag us, tag them, tag.
That was our
tag them.
That was our first campaign we ever did. A buddy of ours said, "Why don't you call it Post the Pants?"
I love that.
And so our whole first year of business, we ran a post the pant campaign during show season, and that's really what got our name out there. Was who's this guy in the pants we're seeing literally at every show every single day, and then all over our social media feeds with all of our
Yeah.
friends.
No, so good. And you get to be loud. You mentioned like your competitors might think you're loud. One thing you need to do, businesses, you need to be loud if you want to succeed and you want to, make it past your the 5 year mark, where most businesses fail, and you want to be one of those businesses that don't. And that's why we're doing this podcast to help more businesses. We have to be loud. My other podcast is called Be She, which Laci was just on. We just had her on yesterday and recorded the interview. So she'll be coming out on that soon. So if check out Be She for those of you who don't know about it, because Laci's on both of them. And we talk about being seen, being heard, being empowered. And you need to be seen. You need to be heard inside of your business. And if you can get others involved, people want to see you win. They do. They want to see you win in life. They want to see you win in business. But you also need to give them a reason, right? You need to let them know your journey, your story. And you made a good point, Laci, when you shared about, you shine the light on them, which your competitors could think you're shining the light on you, but you're actually shining the light on your clients and your customers and partnerships and things like that. When I was working with female entrepreneurs, I would say, whenever you're stuck, step away and focus out. Who can you serve in this moment? Who can you reach out to and help? Because when you're helping someone else, you're not worried about you anymore. And when you come back to what you were stuck on, it's all clear. The clarity shows up, right? So focus out, support others, and that's how you stay top of mind. That person may not be your customer, but I guarantee you they know somebody who is. Yeah. And that door will open in the future, right? Like you said, the sale might not happen today, but it's going to happen down the road. And most of the time it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5-fold. Right. Yeah. So good.
That's one of our core values, is to build strong relationships.
Yeah.
You can't do that if you're just selling something to sell. If I build a strong relationship with Heidi owns a pool store, and I help Heidi solve a problem that has nothing to do with me, nothing to do with the Great Game. Next time I see Heidi's going to be excited to see me. Hey, Laci, where you been? Come on in. What you got today? Maybe I don't have anything that helps Heidi today, but if I keep building that relationship, the second I have something that helps you, you're in. You're going to support me because I've supported you. So it's always about giving back first.
Absolutely. So good. So what's next for the Grit Game? Like, what's your goals for the next 12 months?
Oh my goodness. We are on hyper growth mode, which sounds so silly to say because I feel like we've been on hyper growth mode since we started. But we're expanding. We have, one sales rep in every territory that we want to be in, but we want to have 3 sales reps in every territory that we want to be in. So now we're hiring massively, which is amazing. We have taken on a new arm of our business, which is education. So on top of saying, hey, we have these great products, maybe they help you. No, let's give you free education on demand. So a lot of folks in the pool industry, there's pool chemicals. Even if you own a pool, that nobody likes pool chemicals because you have to be a pool chemist to figure all this stuff out. We've created easy pool care 101 courses and pool product training courses and how to install this on your pool so that the pool pro can come and be like, we're still giving back. We're still pouring into them and into making their businesses better. We've done things that no other group in our space has done, which is take on business solutions as a client for our customers. So instead of just saying, I have this product to sell, here's some software that we back. Here's some financing company that we would recommend. And what do these do for you? We don't make a traditional commission like we do on other products we sell, but we've partnered with them and we are now saying, hey, here, there's more solutions for you. So we're providing continued education on top of sales. We are trying to get more involved in how do we deliver more high quality to our customers. I tell Johnny all the time, I said, if we were making a product and every single year we'd say, how do we make that product better? What innovations are we going to do? What upgrades are we having? Well, our product is our people. My product is my team. That's what I'm selling. I'm selling their services. So my whole year is, how do I help my team be more efficient? How do I help my team How do I improve their skill sets? How do we pour into them in such a way that it overflows into their customers? How do we make them happier in their roles so that they're just a light and a joy when they go and see their their clients? So it's that's how we're looking at moving into the next year is how do we continue to give more in a way that's high quality, in a way that adds extreme value, and really making these offers that people feel silly to say no to.
Mm, yeah. So if I could give you a magic wand, Laci, and you can go poof on one issue that you're having right now that could possibly stall your goal, you achieving your goals, what would that be and why?
We Johnny and I call this the bippity boppity boo effect.
Perfect with the magic wand. Look at that.
Yeah, we ask everybody if we could bippity boppity boo this right now, what would it be? And I think I feel like it's the cop out answer, but I feel like every business owner, if you were going to be honest with yourself, what would you fix? What would release a lot of your hurdles? And it's cash flow.
Mm,
It's cash flow. If I had more cash flow, I would be going after 5 new team members in every new territory. I would be hiring more people to take on the education piece so that I didn't do more. I would be hiring more marketing, social media people to get that off my plate. I think as an entrepreneur, your goal should always be how do I replace myself? There's a oh, her name is Cody. She's amazing. She says that you should be looking to replace yourself every 6 months if you're looking to scale.
Cody Sanchez.
Da-da! Yes. Yes. We love her. We
We love
just
her.
love her. And so when I heard her say that, I went, oh no, she would be so mad at me. Because I don't do that. I take on so much, and my thought process is always, how do I take more off of my team so they can do a better job? I need to look at hiring more people to take more off of my plate so I can pour back into the team.
Yeah.
So that's something that really struck a nerve with me. And now we're going through and we're starting to look at my to-do list and my tasks and branch them out and say, okay, could any of these go under a different kind of umbrella that we could hire somebody to take and move? So that's one way that we're looking to grow and scale moving in the future is how do we hire more team members to delegate the different jobs on our roles so that we can continue to look at what's going to take to continue to grow and scale.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. So what if I could bring you back in a year, Laci, and we can revisit this conversation? What does success look like for you? I kind of think I know the answer based on your last answer, but
I think success for us would look like a year from now. Gosh, that's when you're when you're 2.5 years and thinking about how many things have just exploded and changed in that time, a whole year from now, wow. We have so much more than a sales team. We have different departments that are operating like a well-oiled machine, and everybody is just all smiles, all high fives, and really leaning into just empowering the potential of the industry we're in. And I, we've found a massive success in hiring veterans in our space, where a lot of sales companies, what they'll do is they'll hire a young buck who's real hungry and they'll teach them the industry. We're hiring people with 20, 30, 40 years of experience already in this industry, and they cost more, but we've been able to just turn them loose. They know what to do, they know how to do it, they have the relationships already. And so that's one reason that we've been able to grow and scale at the rate that we have is we hired the veterans who already knew and they didn't need hand holding. They just went and did it now. Now we need to start looking at how do we capitalize on that in other departments that can back them up now. We need inside sales. We need a marketing team. We need all these different things that we've just focused on getting the veterans to sell. And that's served us very, very well. But I think success a year from now looks like properly organized departments of a well-oiled machine that just feeds like a beautiful flywheel into each other.
yeah, you brought up a really good point and a golden nugget that I want to shine light on, which is hiring veterans. A lot of startups will hire new people because the cost is less, right? But the time invested and time investment needed and resources needed in order to support that team member who is green versus a veteran is a lot more. So you might be saving cash on the front end, but you're spending a lot of time and resources on the back end. So it's not always the best choice. And you just made that. And I wanted to bring that to light because I think that's something that I haven't heard spoken about on this podcast. And I think that's a key point that I haven't heard other people do or talk into, is maybe spending more on the front end for that veteran, and you can like turn them loose and let them go so they can generate the revenue that you need to bring in to be able to expand those other departments of your company. Mm-hmm. And also knowing that you do need to bring in green people on the back end of that revenue. So then bringing in the revenue from the veterans, using that revenue, reinvesting it in the things that you feel are urgent right now to grow and scale. And then also knowing that you need to bring in some younger people to be able to support those veterans. And also those veterans will be, their term will end at some point, right? So you want to be able to know that those people are now learning. Those veterans are now training. You're not spending that time and resources on the back end of that new hire. Your veterans are training those people, which, and they're learning from pros. Which in the CEO founder role, we're not necessarily always the pro in that space, right?
Yeah, for sure. I actually skew our numbers greatly. I have only been in the industry for 8 years. So when we talk about the average time that our team's been in the industry, I skew our numbers, unfortunately, because most of them are 20, 30, 40 years in. And exactly to your point, I would rather invest in somebody who knows what they're doing up front. I don't have to train you outside of this is how the grit game does it. We have a very extensive hiring process. Depending on the territory you're in, you're going to have 4 to 5 interviews. And, one of them is to make sure they can do the job. I have my VP of sales make sure they understand. I tell them, scare them. This is not for the weak. It's a sales traveling gig. And I say, scare them. I want them to know this is the worst case scenario. And if they do that, they go to another team member who's done extensive research on them. They know their industry reputation. They know what they're known for. Are they great salesmen? Are they known for just coming in and dropping off brochures? Are they known for, kind of talking bad about customers? Like, we know all about their reputation in the industry, because then when you're in a niche industry, everybody knows everybody, which is good and bad. When they get to me, it's about value alignment, because they could be great salespeople. They could have a great reputation. But if we don't have value alignment we're very specific. We want to solve problems. We don't just want to sell to sell. We don't do pushy sales. We're here to help people. At the end of the day, we're here to help businesses grow, period. And if we don't have value alignment, they're not going to be happy in the long term. We're not going to be happy in the long term. And we wish them the best. So we've done a really good job on the hiring. But just because I see somebody come into the application, we have about 24 applicants in the pipeline right now, which is amazing. And they range from 0 years of experience to 40. And just because I see a high number, that doesn't mean they automatically into a certain pipeline. Again, it's because when you've been in the same industry for 40 years, people are going to know you and they're going to know what you stand for. So this goes back again to your brand voice. Even outside of a company, you as an individual have a brand voice. And as soon as you realize that, you can start to decide how you want that to be heard throughout your industry for the rest of your career. What do you want to be known for? What do you want that reputation to be? If you go and apply for your dream job 5 or 10 years from now, if they did their homework on you, what would people say about you? What would your coworkers say? What would your bosses say? What would your customers say? And it's going to all add up to the same story, because we are ourselves typically. And so if you know that going into it, you can decide today to rewrite that story. Maybe you're great. Maybe you're fantastic. But what's that one thing you really want to be known for? Start plugging that into your conversations more.
Super good. That's so good. That's a mic drop. We're going to end it there. I think we're going to end it there. So Laci, that's so mic drop. Let's share with the people how they can connect with you and learn more about you and the Grit Game.
Yeah, absolutely. I am not a hard one to find. Laci Davis, the Grit Game. You pop it in Google, I promise I'll pop up pretty close on top. If not, the whole page. So we're very loud, we're very proud, and LinkedIn is a great place. We're very active there, but if you're not there, we're everywhere.
So make sure you go follow her, go check her out, go connect with her. She's amazing, as you know, as you've heard. If you're watching Laci and I on YouTube, thank you. We're grateful to have you here. Hello, hello. Please drop a comment below and let Laci know you saw her here. If you're listening to us on YouTube and you know of somebody that could use Laci and the Grit Game or learn more about them, need them in their life, then please share this episode and get it out there. There is a button on YouTube. If you've never heard of it, it says subscribe. Love for you to click on it. It just boop. Click on it, hit subscribe. That allows us to ring the bell to you when we have amazing guests like Laci on the show. They're here spending their time out of their day and out of their business to share their insights and wisdom with you, to support you in your growth of your business. And I'm grateful for them being here in support of my mission to have more businesses thriving and growing in 5 years. So I'd be grateful for you if you reach out to them and hit that subscribe button so you can hear when their amazing interviews come to light on the show. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, all the places, and you can leave a review, especially, or hit that 5-star button, please do both. That allows the platform to push our content out to more people so Laci can talk, people can hear more about her amazingness and the Grit Game. I promised y'all a gift. Here it is. Write it down. If you're looking to grow your visibility and you're looking for some outside the box strategies, Laci shared what works for them. She also shared that you've got to really put your stake in the ground. What makes you stand out and lean into that? Be loud, be proud, just like they've been. And you're feeling like, I've tried a lot of things and it's just not working. Go ahead and download our Spotlight to Scale blueprint. You can go to spotlighttoscale.com/blueprint. Go grab it. Let us know what you think. Laci, before we wrap up and I let you go, my lovely friend, is there anything that you'd like to share or say that I didn't get to ask you or we didn't touch on today?
I'd say don't be afraid to scale. Thinking about growing, it's going to come with some pain points, and knowing that ahead of time matters, but don't let it stop you. It's growing a business, there's no better reward.
Yeah. I remember on the other podcast you shared that you told your husband when he's like, let's do this, we're going to do this. You're like, are you sure? Entrepreneurship is not a 8 to 5. It's not a 9. It's like, it's a hard game.
All in.
It's a grit game, right?
Yeah.
So I love that last point that you shared because it's not easy, but it's rewarding. It's meaningful, especially if you're leaning out, focusing out. And like Laci does, they're not here to sell, they're here to solve a problem. And when you lean into that, it all comes together. Yeah. Then you're on purpose. And then you're creating a mission, you're creating a ripple effect in the world in whatever industry and whatever niche you're in. So Laci, thank you so much for your time. I'm running out of time here. I'm going over, but I just enjoy you so much, enjoying the conversation. Thank you all for listening to Laci and I today. Make sure to reach out to her and we'll see you on the next episode of the Business Growth Spotlight.